What's up? So it's been raining here in Ohio for like a week straight, and today it's cold, but we are supposed to have a couple of days of nice weather coming up, mid 70s, and I would like to get some clear coat wiped on this thing. So tonight, we're just gonna push through the cold and the noise of the rain on the steel roof and get this thing all prepped. I came out here a couple nights ago and was messing with some stuff under the hood. I did end up de-trimming some of the emblems. This was really probably, other than these marker lights, I got to pull those still. This is about as far as I'm taking it apart. And I feel like that's about all I really need to do for a wipe-on clear coat application. I am going to burn this thing down real quick with 400 grit. There were a couple of spots that I just wasn't happy with, how they looked after the acid wash. There was still a bunch of orange paint all over this thing. And 400 is not the ideal grit for prepping for clear coat, but it's what I have. I am going to be using my 330 seconds DA. A lot of people call that a refinisher's DA. So the 400 grit really won't be super aggressive because the DA is such a fine orbit. So shouldn't take long. We should run around this whole thing, burn it down real quick, get it blown off, maybe get it wiped off tonight, and then tomorrow we can come out, mask up a couple of little spots, and probably around the windshield and the windows and maybe the edges of the grill, but should be ready to start wiping some clear coat on there tomorrow. So I got this thing all prepped down and wiped off with a water-based cleaner. I will be hitting it with a wax and grease remover before we actually apply the clear coat, but I always start with a water-based cleaner just to make sure all the dust and stuff is wiped off it, and gives me a good visualization of what it's going to look like once clear is applied, and I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm going to spend the rest of the night just kind of masking up the couple of little spots that I need to mask up, the window gaskets and handles and the grill, and tomorrow we should be wiping clear coat on. It's the next day. This thing is all wiped down with wax and grease remover and blown off for the final time. We're ready to throw some clear on here. So we will be using the Vice Grip Wipe On Clear satin. So it's a mixture, 50%, 50-50 of the gloss and the matte to get that satin look. Comes as a whole kit. It's an 8-to-1 clear coat. Comes with 4 applicators. Should be way more than enough to do this whole truck. This kind of was just on a whim. I decided to clear coat this truck. I wasn't going to. I almost don't really think it's worth it because the body's so rough, but I really wanted to get entered to win that square body, and you can't win if you don't enter. So the best way to get a lot of entries quickly is something expensive like a clear coat kit. So I think it is, $250 or something, and if that does multiple vehicles, especially small ones, it says one 32-ounce can kit will do a long bed C10 wiped on. So that goes a long way, because usually when you spray a long bed C10, you could be well over a half a gallon of clear. So let's get this thing mixed up And I'm probably going to start on the roof, because if I mess something up in the first, 15 minutes, at least it's on the roof and nobody will ever see it. Now, I don't want to mix up too much, so I am going to go 8-1 with the gloss, and then 8-1 with the matte, and then I'm just going to mix them together, and that should give me, it's going to give me about 20 ounces. So we can adjust from there if we need more later. Like I said, I'm not going super crazy on this. I just want a good chemical and UV resistant coating on there and an even texture. So let's go. There's one. Oh, that one's not open yet. This one is. There we go. Up to the second one. And then over here, do the same thing. A little more. Up to the one. And then up to the second one. And that's your 8-1 mix ratio right there. I'm going to stir these up, and then I'll mix them together. There you go. 20 ounces of ready to go clear. I'm probably going to transfer some back into this cup, use this as my master cup, and just carry a smaller amount around with me. We'll go there. I don't know exactly how saturated this applicator needs to be, so I'm just going to fold it in half, dunk it, make sure that the whole face is covered, and then jump up in the bed and start wiping down on the roof. Okay. Saturate the applicator. Oh, that soaked right in. Okay. Man, this feels so wrong. I don't know how wet this is supposed to be. Let's just start here and see what happens. Now, they have really good instructions on what you need to do. You're not supposed to wipe over after, 20 seconds or something. You're not supposed to wipe anymore. Okay. It soaks in pretty quick. Am I getting that whole front edge? I can't see, so you're going to have to tell me. Maybe side-to-side swipes is better. Let's go this way. It sure does lay out nice, though. You're not really seeing any of the streaks. It definitely soaks into the E-coating, and the bare metal sections seem to soak in quite a bit faster. I think I'm going to get the whole thing done and then go over it to smooth it all out. Nope, I'm leaning on it in the back already. Sweet. Yep, I leaned all in it already. Alright, I'm going to do one little application application across the whole thing. See if I can do big strokes. I know they say don't go over it after 20 seconds, but we kind of are. Just a little bit. It does look like it's already flashing off though, which is kind of weird. Like it's already starting to turn, setting. I didn't expect it to start kicking and flashing off that fast. Oh yeah, you gotta move pretty quick. It's getting sticky. This stuff kicks fast, even though it says it has a 2-hour pot life in the cup. Okay. All right. We've already learned a lot. Do smaller sections at a time is what I've learned so far. So now that I'm done on the roof, I'm going to hop down and just start running around the whole truck. Well, there she is. It's shiny right now, but as this starts to flash off and catalyze, it's gonna all matte out to a nice satin sheen. So I did learn a couple of things. Around rust, you don't really want to wipe. You kind of want to dab and then wipe around the edges because it'll snag that applicator. The other thing that I learned, I'm very impatient when my carpal tunnel starts to kick in, because up here was nice, and then my wrist started to hurt there on the back. Luckily the bed is not in very good shape because I definitely didn't do as nice a job. And now I just wait. So tomorrow I should see the end result. I can get the masking tape off everything. I'm going to throw this thing back on the lift because there's a couple more things I want to do to it yet this week. So we'll see you tomorrow. Well, I may have messed up. In my excitement to get some clear coat on this truck, I made a pretty rookie mistake. Anybody who's ever used flat clear understands that when it sits in the can for a while, the matting agent will settle to the bottom. I forgot that. So I never shook up the matte clear. So what we ended up with was a totally gloss truck for the most part. There's a couple spots that do look like they flattened out a little bit, but just on the rust. But honestly, like Bob Ross used to say, there's no mistakes, just happy accidents. I freaking love it. Like, I'm really excited. Now I pulled it out in the sun to spin it around. I really like the gloss on there. It just looks different. The truck is in such bad shape that it's going to make people go, why'd you waste your time clear coating it? I don't know. I really dig it though. So as you've seen, I got it spun around on the lift, and I'm gonna get it in the air because I got a couple more things I want to do to it this weekend, or the end of this week and this weekend. One of which is this exhaust. There's a catalytic converter on this that is just plugged solid, I think. It runs, but you can hear it kind of, and I think the cat's plugged. Luckily, I'm a hoarder, and I keep everything. So, look, I have an almost new whole section of exhaust that came off of my van when it had the small block in it. So, we're gonna get this thing popped up in the air, get that exhaust made, and see what I can do for tips. I think I want them coming out here, and I'd love to have 2 of them. I had some stuff come up last night, and I didn't get to play in the shop very long. So I came out this morning and chopped off the little stubby exhaust and put in our used section of mid-pipe and muffler. And then I chefed us up a nice little double barrel shotgun exhaust tip. So I'm gonna get that welded in. Got to get a hanger on it, and I want to do an oil change. And I got something else here that we might throw on real quick. So my original plan was to run these bias plies for as long as I can. They've got plenty of tread, the sidewalls are in great shape, but bias plies ride like trash. And this is gonna be my daily driver truck, so I don't really want it to ride like a wagon. So I hopped on Marketplace one night and about midnight and found the deal of a century on something that, after all of this little happy accident with the gloss clear, I think is gonna look pretty cool. Boom! A set of classic American Racing AR-26 saw blades. Paid $100 for these, and they have great tires. And haven't checked the date code, but the sidewalls aren't all chipped up. And I think, yeah, that's a pretty cool look. This went from a little bit more of a farm truck to kind of like a street truck look, just with these wheels, and I feel like that exhaust. So I'm gonna get these mounted, set it back down on its paws. We can take a look at this thing out in the sun. Looks and sounds spectacular. Honestly, I really like the gloss look. I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much if it was that satin finish that it was supposed to be. So that's an instance where an accident worked out in our favor. There's still a tremendous amount of work to do on this truck. It needs floors, it needs the electrical looked at, but it is running, it has brakes, and now it's looking the part. So a couple more small things and we'll be able to start daily driving this thing. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.